The story.
I started off and suddenly I'm skiing on one ski. My right ski came off. So what you're supposed to do is probably just fall, and I didn't. I actually put my heel down, then it shattered my right leg into pieces because I was traveling so fast. And then I fell for a kilometer and I went through the speed trap at 160 kilometers an hour.
G'day, I'm Jimmy Colefax. Welcome to The Story. Well, Iona Rossely has been a British international speed skier and an Irish endurance horse racer. She's also been a television personality, author and public speaker. But at one point in her life, she was burnt out, tired and exhausted. She discovered that sometimes having everything you ever dreamed of still can't fill the void. Today, Iona will share how she overcame this emptiness to now having a life filled with hope, joy and purpose. Iona is chatting with Eric Scatterbo.
Iona Rossely, welcome to the program.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining us. And your life has been filled with so much adventure. Where should we start? Where were you born and raised?
I was actually born in Henley-on-Thames, which is just outside of London. Mm-hmm. My mother's Irish and my father's Scottish, and then we moved to Wales. And then that's when, at the age of 11, I went to a convent school where probably the drama started with sports.
Okay, so what were your impressions of being in a religious type school?
Both my parents were practicing Catholics, so we used to go to church every Sunday. We didn't have Sunday school or anything like that, so it was just a routine thing we did. I didn't actually believe in anything. When I went to the convent school, it was very strict. It was run by Ursuline nuns who were lovely, great education there. I went as a very shy 11-year-old on my own away from my sisters. My parents had just got divorced, so I felt like I'd been abandoned. And I couldn't understand that if there was a God, that he'd even allow that to happen. I struggled with the rituals and the traditions and going to Mass every morning, but my favorite trick was pretending to faint. So I used to sit on the end of the pew and then slowly fall into the aisleway, pretending to faint so I could actually get out of the church.
So obviously not a sincere religious connection at that point.
No, not at all. I really struggled with everything there. And I was also really shy when I went there. Then I found that I was really good at sports. And my identity came from everything I did sports-wise, which is hockey. I was on the Welsh netball squad. I was running. I was riding, I was skiing on a dry ski slope when I went home. So, God and the religious stuff was just, it was there, but it wasn't important in my life. No.
Okay, so not really interested in God, but very interested in sports. Where did that lead you?
I was asked to leave the school on a number of occasions. They did try and expel me, but my dad
is that right?
stepping in. Yeah, my dad kept stepping in, and money speaks louder than words. They allowed me to stay until my O-levels and then asked me not to come back. So I was actually quite happy about that. So I went to art college very briefly, a year and a half, and all this time, from the age of 11 up until when I was in art college, I was skiing on the artificial slope, and I was in the Welsh. Believe it or not, they do have a Welsh ski team. So I was skiing on the Welsh team. I'd only skied on snow once, and I was doing the Peter Stuyvesant Alpine Skier of the Year. I was loving, obsessed with my skiing. And riding the horse riding was just like a hobby, I suppose, in the background. So I felt very lonely and really alone and not fitting in at art college and not happy. So when a couple of the boys said that they were going to Switzerland to become ski instructors, I jumped on a plane and went with them. And I actually passed my skiing instructor's exam, even though I hadn't done I had 1 week on snow when I was 11.
Oh, wow.
So I ended up teaching in Switzerland for a couple of years. And from there, I ended up working for a tour operator who offered me a position as chief instructor in a resort called Les Arcs 2000 in France. And they have what's called the kilometre lancé, which is the flying kilometre. And I used to watch these guys go down thinking they're mad. Why on earth would you be traveling 160 kilometers an hour in a straight line?
Wow.
We just thought, why would you do that? And then I actually got involved in speed skiing, all because of a prank. One of the girls who worked for me, she suggested that we all go and have a go on the speed track. And as ski instructors, we were allowed to go halfway up. So because I was chief instructor, I couldn't say no, and I didn't really want to do it. So we all went. I got my helmet, my skis. We're only allowed on the halfway point because it is really, really steep. You're looking at a 45-degree angle. So I got there, and there's no one else there. And I'm like, I've been stood up. This is a prank.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. So I was there on my own with the guy with the walkie-talkie, and he was looking at me, and I said, I don't really want to do this. He said, well, you either got to walk down or you have to ski down. And I was thinking, I have to ski down. I don't want to do this. I was really scared. So I did it, and it was just the most amazing feeling. I felt like I was flying. I felt like I jumped out of a block of flats, but that felt good to me. Got to the bottom. All my friends who were laughing were there cheering and screaming, and, it was just amazing. And when I got my breath back and I was able to actually speak, and because the adrenaline and it's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
I said, right, who's next? And they all looked at me and were like, no, no. So my skiing career started from that, as in speed skiing. But I'm very, very competitive and very obsessive. And I just put everything into my speed skiing. And I really felt that finally I'd found my identity. And from the speed skiing, I got sponsored by Smirnoff vodka. I was sponsored by Alfa Romeo cars. I had the money coming in. I had a great job. I was traveling around the world. My first year, I was British Overseas Champion in 1986, and then went to New Zealand and won there. In this time, what was really frustrating is that when you did really well, the next morning I'd wake up and I wanted to feel different, and I didn't. I just felt this really deep hole had opened up even more because I thought I would feel different with the amount of time and the effort. You're weight training, you're meditating, visualization techniques, you're running. The amount of effort you have to put in for every race is unbelievable. Yeah. And I just felt just down. I thought, but I would be down for a couple of days, and then I'd get back on the roller coaster.
So you didn't have like a feeling of accomplishment?
Yeah, but I did, but fleeting. It was fleeting, and you couldn't hang on to it. Okay. And I just really felt there had to be more. So in this time when I was speed skiing, I was trying everything else. I knew there had to be more. So whether it was Buddhism, transcendental meditation, crystals, Reiki, I went down so many paths to feel that I was complete. I didn't feel complete, even though I was loving what I was doing. I was having lots of media attention. I had the cars. I was traveling around the world.
But it didn't bring fulfillment.
No, not at all. Not at all. And for me, I had God for me didn't really exist at that time. So, and he felt, or if he did, he was living on a far distant planet, and he wasn't really bothered about me, and he didn't love me. So you always feel like you're on your own, and whatever you did, it's for you only and no one else.
Now, where did you get that kind of attitude
My
from?
dad. I love my dad to death. He's very military style. He loves his manners. And I remember he sat the four of us down and said, you've got 2 arms, 2 legs, and a brain. He said, it's totally up to you what you become in life. I will pay for your education, and then after that, you're on your own. So
self-reliance was pretty much taught to you.
Huge, yes. And I think that plus the winning and doing well in sports environments should have given you everything you wanted, because the world tells you that money, fame, fortune, whatever, doing what you want is enough, and it's not. It's really not. But I think you only realize that when it's taken away from you.
You're listening to The Story. Today, Eric Scadabo is chatting with former British international speed skier and Irish endurance horse racer Iona Rossely, who's written about her incredible life journey in her book, Racing on Empty. As we just heard, Iona discovered that even though she had everything she'd ever dreamed of, it still didn't fill the void. Next, we'll find out how losing everything played a big role in Iona finally finding fulfillment. All that and more when we return.